Pocahontas is a beautiful and soulful individual. As highly requested, I made this Disney-inspired version of this Native American princess. If you guys enjoyed this tutorial, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And of course, please check out my other channel, Mio Mango, for more videos. Alright, let's get this tutorial started. As always, start with a flesh-colored piece of clay to form the head. To make her beautiful black hair, take a black piece of clay and flatten this into a long, thin sheet. You want this clay to be about 2 to 3 millimeters thick, and go ahead and place the head in the center of the sheet. Gently roll the extra clay into the center of the head to form her bangs. Just leave the rest of the clay to wrap around her head because her hair kind of flows all around her face. With a blade, gently cut off all the excess clay and smooth out the uneven edges with your fingers or clay tools. Alright, so her hair is a little bit too long, so I'm going to cut off some more clay at the very bottom to shorten her hair a little bit. And since Pocahontas' hair is always flowing in the wind, I'm going to cut off some pieces of clay in a triangle shape so that it gives her hair a little more dimension. I'm doing this by marking where I want to cut off the clay with a blade, and go ahead and cut off any of the pieces that you don't want. When you're done, her hair should look something like this. For her body, I'm taking another flesh piece of clay, and I'm going to form an indentation in the center where her waistline is going to be. With a clay tool or your fingers, I'm going to smooth out any of the harsh edges so that her waistline seems more natural, and I'm going to cut off part of her torso and the bottom part of her body to make it a little shorter and cuter. Now with a mustard colored clay, you're going to flatten this into a really thin sheet, about 1 millimeter thick. This is going to form Pocahontas' dress, so on one side, cut off a straight edge. Wrap that straight edge around her torso and kind of eyeball where you want her dress to end. Pocahontas' dress has a slight tapered tip in the very center, so I'm going to take a blade and mark where I want that tip to end, and I'm going to cut out a V shape where her dress is at. Once you're done cutting off all the extra clay, just smooth out all the uneven edges. With a light colored piece of yellow clay, we're going to form the little fringe all over her dress. So roll this into a long thin snake and flatten it out. You're going to cut this piece into a long, thin strip. The strip is maybe 1 or 2 millimeters thick, and with your blade or a clay tool, you're going to form little indentations closely spaced to each other to form the little fringe. I lined this fringe around the bottom of her dress, and I also lined it on the top of her dress with one side going over her shoulder like it does in the movie. With the same colored mustard clay you had earlier, roll this into a long thin snake, and you're going to place this right above the top fringe, and you're going to angle it into a V shape that parallels with her dress at the bottom. So her dress is almost done. Just take a brown piece of clay and roll this into a really thin snake, as thin as you can make it, and this is going to form her belt that's at her waistline. And again, make this taper into a V shape that parallels to her dress. With a turquoise piece of clay, roll this into a long thin snake, and you're going to form the necklace at the very top that her mother gave her. And this necklace has a little white feather on the center, so you're going to take a white piece of clay and form little indentations with a Sharpie and put this in the center of her dress. To form her arms and leg, all you have to do is take flesh colored clay and roll them into long thin snakes, and go ahead and attach her arms and her legs. And don't worry if they're too long right now, we will shorten them out later. With a red piece of clay, you're going to roll this into a very long thin snake, and this is going to form the tattoo around her arm. So just gently place this around the upper shoulder / arm of her right arm like she does in the movies. Alright, so her body is done, so let's go ahead and attach this to the head. I'm using a silver pin to help hold these two pieces together. All you have to do is center it in the center of the head and of course add it to the center of the body. If the arms or legs were too long, this is the perfect time to go ahead and shorten them and shape them into the shape that makes you most happy. So here is how my finished Pocahontas body looks like with her nice little head. All that's left is her face, so I'm going to give her some large, brown, widely spaced apart eyes, and I'm also going to give her some nice little eyebrows right on top of those to make her look like she has a very serene face. Don't forget to highlight her eyes with a little bit of white clay into the corners. And since Pocahontas has these really luscious dark lips, I'm just going to give her a little tiny red dot to form her mouth. And that's it, your little Pocahontas character is pretty much done. The only thing I did left is reshape her hair. Since her hair is always flowing in the wind, I just made her hair look like it's a little more layered by repositioning it and look like it's constantly flowing. So go ahead and do that, and once you're happy with it, you're ready to bake your little character in the oven. And that concludes this tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please check out my Instagram, which is Flying Mio, and my other channel, Mio Mango, for more videos. Bye!